Hi there, I'm Becky Franklin from the Ultimate Home Gym, and welcome to our FitPro series.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another FitPro series interview. And today we've got the amazing Heather Claus. She is a giant in the world of fitness and training in Toronto. She is so well educated. I can't even get into her certifications. So I'm going to let her take over and sort of talk about her experience and the type of clients that she likes to work with. Go ahead, Heather. Welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate this. It's been a long time since we've actually seen each other. So
Oh, I know. We've known each other for a long time.
about a decade or maybe even more.
Yeah, so it's really good to reconnect. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's great. So I've been in this industry, I guess I'm going on to my 19th year, long time.
Wow.
And yeah, it has sort of evolved. I started with training.
Yep.
I actually took my YMCA personal trainer certification. I know, back in the day.
Yes.
A long time ago.
You just aged yourself there a little bit, I think.
I did. That's okay. That is okay. I took that, and it was actually, I think it was like a 6-month course or something like that. It was pretty thorough, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and the YMCA one was a bit more thorough.
Yeah. And I think that's why I picked it over, at the time, CanFit and CPTN. I just felt like it had a lot more information, and I'm a little bit of an education junkie, as we talked about. Yeah, and it doesn't stop from there, which is great and expensive too at the same time.
It's a very expensive habit.
Yeah.
Or addiction, or whatever word you want to attach to it. But Becky's got the same thing.
Yeah.
Like she would just, like, she's dropped so much money on education. I mean, she's incredibly certified, as so are you. But I think both you have this kind of like, seems like this addiction to
bring it. I want to learn more. I want to learn more.
Yeah, and it's quite amazing. Okay, so let's get this started with the major question and wrapped around COVID. So like, how has COVID changed your business, and what has surprised you, maybe like either good or bad, surprised you about the transition?
So I think at the beginning, for a lot of us in this industry, it was not a little bit scary. It was very scary because I'm a single parent. So I'm the only one bringing in an income to my family. And to kind of have that completely wiped out is, there was a good few weeks of complete and utter panic. But I have taught classes before.
Okay.
And because I have extensive training background, I had a few clients that, didn't sit around for very long.
Good.
And we just started doing Zoom sessions, and I learned very quickly how to use language to get people to do things. So we would, do things like with bands and with dumbbells, and you're a little bit on the fly. I mean, you can write stuff out, but that's not always going to work in this type of training environment.
Right.
And it's slowly built from there. Like, it was slow. It was maybe, I think, out of all of my clients, I had 4 that did Zoom. 4.
And so how many clients were you working with? Because I probably have a rough idea, but yeah. Like, when you're up at the gym, like, how many clients were you training?
Yeah. So originally I had, through rotation, I had about 12.
12 to 4. Okay. That's a cut. That's a big cut.
It was massive. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So any positive or negative surprises that you discovered through this transition?
I had a few more people from my past reach out to me about online programming. So that's something that got going, which I wasn't doing before. I do that through Train Heroic. Like, I use that app, and they connect through the app, and I'm able to coach them through that, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. Amazing.
And I did grow the online, like the Zoom training, as the gym started to open up for a period of time in the summer. We had some people that just didn't want to come back, but they wanted to start training again.
Yeah.
So I would say, out of the clients that left, I probably had 2 more come back on board.
Okay.
and 2 new ones.
Okay. So there's some positive there. Like that's good.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
we went through, I mean, very similar thing, right? So we understood
right.
completely how that everything just got flipped on its head, like almost overnight.
Overnight, yeah. Well, and I've relied on you guys a lot to send my clients to your website and say, okay, you got to talk to them, you got to get this, you got to get this. It's been really great so that they have someone who's local who
Right.
can get them this equipment, because they don't know what to get, and most of them were like, I have nothing, I can't do anything.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was a big thing when we closed our gym, and we kind of looked at clients just naturally were asking us, hey, can we get some equipment? So it was kind of a natural transition. But when
Yeah.
we looked at the equipment sales business, it was all geared towards professional like purchasing. And we were like, so all these like sort of regular average Joes and Janes that were looking to work out, there was nobody really guiding or helping. So
Yeah.
that's where the Ultimate Home Gym kind of surfaced from, was like, okay, let's see if we can get equipment in front of these people and help them venture through. So it's been good that, that your clients can get the equipment, and obviously we have the ability to get it for them. So that's been good.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on. So what is one of the, and I'm so glad I'm asking you this question because of your extensive knowledge, but what is one common myth that you would like to totally debunk?
I think this is, to me, it's common knowledge now, but
that's my point.
yeah, common knowledge is you don't have to do a ton of cardio. Right?
Explain that. Explain it. Please explain
really,
it.
Like it's, I feel like it's like a stuck in the 80s mentality.
Right.
And it's because in the 80s, it was, the gyms were for bodybuilders only, and women essentially were doing fitness classes. And there was this message about, you don't want to put on muscle, you want to be skinny, you want to be small, you need to sweat. And it's it's still one of those, I think Becky, if she was here, she would say it's the same thing. Like women, it's like this battle that we have to get them to understand that you need to build muscle, like get off the damn bike and hit the weights.
And it's still, and to your point, it's still being passed down to the millennial sort of generation, I believe, because it's the mother. I don't know how, if it's the males or the females, but they're probably both sort of passing down that information, saying like, you need to exercise, therefore, get on a bike or a treadmill or
Peloton. Right. Like it's exploded during this. Excellent marketing.
Yeah.
And
their marketing is great. I've got a love-hate relationship with cycling in general, just because you're sitting down again. And so I don't mind the cardiovascular aspect to it, but people got to move.
You got to move. Yeah.
And so now they sort of check the box off while I'm working out, but you're sitting on your behind again. Yeah. And you're just spinning your legs.
Position sort of like this, right?
So, and you're back down in this. Yeah. So, I mean, it's a love. I don't talk much about it, but I'm glad you brought it up, because it's one of my little pet peeves is the Peloton has blown up and everyone's back in this position. So it's going to create a lot more dysfunction, but in a way it'll keep us busy.
Yeah. I know my FST business is going to be.
Yeah. So so I mean, the FST, you're level 3 FST, right?
I am, yeah.
And that's the top notch FST. So you can really turn anybody into gumbo, right? Like you could, like, so I think that's incredible. But are you not able to stretch right now? Or can you mask on, kind of protocol it and work through it?
It depends. It depends on the environment, right? Like,
it's a therapy. Like I don't think
it's a therapy. So
100%.
I was doing it in my own home for a period of time. That was something that changed during the whole pandemic. Is I sort of like cleared out a whole section of my apartment, got rid of a whole bunch of stuff, windows open and, masked up and
Yep.
air purifier in
Yeah.
the room kind of
Yeah.
thing, right? And I knew I had, anyone that was coming in, everything was wiped down. It was like a handful of people, but I mean, I had people who were just really messed up from being on Zooms all day or from being on their spinning bike all day, that kind of thing. Yeah, like I had a lot of neck and back pain. And the other thing is I had a lot of people who were so, they needed to get out of their house.
And I don't, maybe that's not weighed on enough. I don't think. There's people that can handle it just fine. And those people don't understand the people that can't. And the ones that just, they're in their, like they're maybe in their head too much and they need to escape that slightly. And when they're stuck in their own space too much, it just drives them nuts, crazy.
Yeah.
And so I think to that point, it's important that people, they need to in a way, self-diagnose what's best for them and sort of navigate the COVID protocol in a way that's going to maintain their health.
Right. And we've heard a lot about sort of the mental health issues. And I know from within my own family, my son has struggled being a teenager, with some of the mental health issues that teenagers are going through right now because of the online schooling and not seeing friends and not doing sports and, everything kind of in the world getting wiped out. Right. So I do, because you do FST as well, or you did in the past, you understand that there is a healing through touch and just connection with the nervous system. And that was a big part of it. I would have some people that maybe they wouldn't be so tight, but they just needed to get someone to put some hands on them.
And touch and energy, and you can't discount energy transfer from you to the other person is, been healing before we knew what healing was. That was touch transfer and energy transfer was part of healing. So I think it's extremely important that you're doing that and continue to do it, given that it's safe, right? But 100%. And the FST, when you're good at it, and you have that touch, people just melt, and you need to keep doing it because people need that. They're living in such a high stress, tense scenario. They need that release. So that's good.
Yeah.
I'm going to move on to a question that lines up with this a little bit. In terms of reaching fitness goals, how do you feel mindset plays into all that? Like, what's your thoughts on the whole mindset thing and reaching a fitness goal?
Well, I think when it comes to fitness and health goals, your mindset's going to do this.
Good. Yeah.
Right. It's rare that I have anybody, my athletes. When I worked with athletes, but even with them, sometimes they'll go sideways, right? Like
they crash. I find athletes, they have this linear progression, right? It's like boom, 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 boom.
And then, exactly. So I think that, the understanding that whoever you're working with, that their mindset is not always going to be in the right place all the time. And you just roll with that, right?
Yeah.
You just have to learn to turn the I can't into it's hard, or, like changing the language. Like
that's perfect.
I had a guy that I was working with quite often, and he would say to me, I can't do this. I'm giving all that I've got. And I would just always change. I said, listen, the I can't, we leave that at the door, because you can. It is possible, like you just reframe it and stuff like that. And then once they did it, it's like, oh yeah, okay. Because it can be a fear thing, whether perfectionism, right? Like they want it to be perfect. And if there's not perfect, if they're not getting the numbers or the reps or the this or the that, it's almost like an excuse for their performance sort of thing. Like I always say, it's progress, not perfection. Remember that.
And I was the exact same way. I said, you cannot say I can't. Like it's not allowed to be said. You can say it's hard today. I'm having a hard time today. I'm struggling today, but you cannot say I can't.
100%,
And way back in the day when I started training, which 20 years ago or something, what I used to do was, when I used to use machines, when I didn't know what I was doing 20 years ago, we used machines a lot. So what happened was is they would sit down on the machine and they would tell me I can only lift this much weight. And so I would let them do that. But by the second set, I would have changed the weight without them seeing. They would have lifted it. I would have showed them. And then I would say, well, now you can't tell me what you can or cannot do because you just did something you said you couldn't do. So how can you trust yourself? So and changing their belief system.
Exactly.
And one of the things I've always told people, and I think you can attest to this, is confidence. An increase in confidence is the number one thing I've seen in my years of training. Mm-hmm. It's not weight loss. It's not muscle growth. It's not achieving 10Ks run or whatever it is. It's the confidence growth that I see in people when they're achieving things they never thought possible. And I think that, to your point, and I think that's probably why you're so successful, is that you can put them in a position to achieve things they didn't think possible through your language and through your understanding biomechanics and programming. So kudos to you.
And I think at any age too, which is a big part of it, because I've got people in their late 60s and 70s still training with me. And I've got people in the early 20s training with me, like it's at any age. My 70-year-old is amazing. Like,
here, I think your son's so.
We're doing a recording.
So that
in the corner back in the day.
That was amazing. He's like, and that's absolutely true. And I've had 50-year-olds better shape than my 30-year-olds.
Yeah,
and so age is a factor only to a point, if it is a factor. But if you're in great shape and you're 50, 55, 60, go until until something comes up. But yeah, that's key. Okay, so what is, for someone who's so experienced, what is your biggest inspiration for continuing your growth and living healthy? Like, where do you find your inspiration, or who inspires you?
That's a good question. Who inspires me?
I know. He's probably not wrong. Like he's
not wrong. Actually, he's not wrong in the sense that, like, I just turned 50 a couple of weeks ago, and it's thank you. It's one of those things where it's like, I want to be, when he is older and he has kids of his own, I don't want to be that grandmother that has a lot of health problems. I don't want to be that grandmother that can't get up and down off the ground. Right? Like, I want to be like brain optimizing.
Yeah.
So that I'm sharp when I'm that age, and I can be involved in my grandkids' lives and be healthy, and, like all of these things. And I think that that's one of the things where, we'll call it sort of like I'm an inner fighter, in the sense that I will not accept what aging and everything says it's supposed to happen. I'm going to fight it as much as I can.
Yeah, no, and I think that I'm in the exact same boat now, that having a daughter, and just realizing that, like, now that you went to a certain point, you remove your ego a little bit as you get older.
Yeah.
And when you remove the ego, and you're not just lifting now to look better and lift a lot of weight, it's like, well, what am I doing? And my daughter Aaliyah, I want to be able to get to the floor and hang out with her down there.
Yeah.
Like, and then as she grows, I want to grow with her. So to that point, I agree with you completely. They are a huge motivation. So that's good. I can see that.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you could only use one piece of equipment for the rest of your training life, what would it be and why?
Probably a barbell.
Ooh.
Barbell and plates. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I mean, it's so versatile for your compound movements, right?
Right.
You, yeah.
A strength coach at heart. Like that's like that's
I'm like, get that barbell, let's get going. Right? Like, just
she's got a barbell and some plates on her back, and she's just trucking. No, I mean, I absolutely love the barbell and plates, and attest to that. I mean, it's you can't really, the thing with the barbell and plates is you can't replicate it really with anything else. Like I don't, you can do dumbbells and kettlebells and stuff, but, and mimic it, but the neurological connection that bar creates by beating with your both hands, and how it creates that strength drive and that whole body push or pull, you can't replicate that unilaterally. You can't replicate that with anything else. So
I mean, if you even just think, if you put together with a barbell and even if they're light plates, like complexes, I mean, right? Explosive, right? Strength.
If you want to fire up your neurological pathways, just start moving a bar around and see, number one, how humbled you are, and number two, how much energy you expired just from simple movements with a bar. So I love that. I think that's really cool. Now in this current state, what fitness equipment are you using most with your clients?
Probably bands, like the power bands. Yeah. And I mean, I keep sending them to you guys for them because they were sold out everywhere, like Amazon, everything. It was like gone when the pandemic hit.
Yeah, they went hardcore.
Yeah.
Like, so it was good that we found a supplier that we can get it, but yeah, they went hardcore. Bands, I love the band.
There's so much that you can do with them, and the great thing is so some people just don't have the space or the finances, for that matter, to get a bunch of different dumbbells, and you know that they're going to adapt to it quite quickly anyway.
Yeah, I think everyone should have a set of bands in their house. Like, I think that should be like a household item. For the reasons you pointed, financially, it's simple, it's easy. Versatility, you throw it in your bag on vacation. Once you learn how to use, and a strength band, I prefer strength bands over the toning bands with handles any
100%,
day.
100%. Yeah.
Like, I just think you can use the strength bands a bit more, and the tensile strength is better, so they last a bit longer.
Well, and I have a couple of clients that, have a set of 10s and maybe a set of 15s. And so what we do is we just incorporate the bands with the dumbbells, right? It changes the strength curve a little bit.
Oh,
it adds variety as well, right? So,
and I don't think a lot of people understand you can use a band with equipment.
Yes.
And strength bands, for that matter, like you can, and just you said your strength curve, like you can dramatically change your strength curve with a band and some tempo. Like you can just destroy it with 5 pounds. So that's neat. Okay, Heather, where can people find you? We'll post this down, but what's the best way to connect with you?
I think probably the best way is Instagram. I seem to be, I think a lot of people are most active on that. Facebook has kind of gotten over.
I'm with you on that.
It's done its time. I mean, I'm on there, but it's more of it's almost like going through the newspaper. You're looking for that one article but
it is that busy. Like it drives me nuts. Like just no, done.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. So Instagram, you're saying is your best.
It is my thing. So my Instagram handle is Heather and then _AC_.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah. So we'll link that so people can reach out and connect with you. Thank you so much for this. It was always a pleasure.
It's great.
And I think after these series, I think we're going to try and do some more technical stuff. So we'd love to have you on for a more specific topic that's a little more technical that might be fun as well.
That would be fantastic. I'd love it.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much, Heather. You have an amazing night. Okay. And yeah, we'll hopefully talk soon. Okay.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Yeah. Take care. Okay. You can stay.
Okay.
You just had to end, but you didn't have to like jump off. Okay. Thank you. That was amazing. That was good.
Great.
I think it was a good conversation. It touched on very good points. And yeah, so we're launching these. When are we launching these? Franklin, you're up.
I just posted on Instagram.
It's happening.
The behind the scenes. I think because we have half of them pretty much recorded, I'll probably post. It's just been crazy busy because we got a big shipment in. But I'll probably post the first 2 episodes next week one
Done.
or two.
Yeah.
Well, not the first episode next week, and then that means every week after that, a new one
Very
would
cool.
come out.
Yeah. So I think we
Yeah.
have 6
So
now.
you'd be like our 5th or 6th. Yeah.
I think
so
it's
you'd be
6.
in the middle there. Yeah.
So yours should come out in about, I guess, 6
Yeah.
weeks.
Yeah.
So about 6 weeks, yours will come out. And if we miss anything, we'll obviously reach out and do that. But yeah, I mean, it should have like some good feedback from our followers. I think it'll be good.
So, like, I was gonna I mean, first we want to support local trainers in the local fitness industry.
Yeah.
And like just kind of give attention to you guys rather than like Peloton and like people just go to those things that are in the media that they don't really know what else is out there.
Well, I love that you brought up the Peloton because I think that message needs to get sent out because people don't know. They get on a bike and they pedal. They don't think through the whole process, right? They're like, oh, I'm exercising. This is good for me. And we also don't want to complicate it for them because technically they are exercising. That's good.
Yeah. I'd rather have them, I suppose, do that than do nothing at all, right?
Right. No. So go on a Peloton, do it because you got to do something. But at the same time, we can't also, unfortunately, don't have the ignorance to ignore what the potential of sitting on a bike after sitting at a Zoom, going from your Zoom to your bike and then back to the couch. Oh. And then, you know what I mean?
Your neck and back are just going to be
just done. They're done. They're done.
A client, when we started online classes, I remember like an avid, someone who's coming to our gym was like, well, I just can't do your classes. Like Peloton just gives me everything I need when I want it. And we're like, okay. And a lot of people supported us. Like there's some people supporting us,
No, we had a pretty good support.
But it was just interesting. Like, I was like, I guarantee you more and more people are going to think that.
I mean, you should be able to, if you're really interested in Peloton, give it a couple of years. You should be able to find some used ones. Because there's going to be an influx of Pelotons going back into the.
Oh yeah.
No, you pay a member. It's $50 a month.
Don't you have to buy the bike? Do you not?
The bike is $3,600 or something, I think, to that effect, and then $50 a month or something for the live.
Those people would have done better to just get some bands and a couple of dumbbells and do some Zoom sessions, and they. Yeah,
because I mean the Zoom session, like trainers.
Yeah.
But
marketing. It's like marketing.
Well, and this is why because we closed the gym, we launched like our online portion, and then we started looking into the online business of sort of classes and training. And we're like, it's a tech business. It's not a technical like training business.
Yeah.
It's turned into a tech. So like Apple Fitness now they're gonna kill it. They're gonna crush it. Peloton's now got the treadmill.
Yeah.
Then there's that mirror thing, and then there's all like we're like
yeah.
And you can go on to like if you have a loyal client base, that's your niche. That's your good. They'll stay with you and you're good with that. But if you're trying to grow it, it's definitely room there. But we were like, we got to start all over again. So the gym business is good. Like the equipment business is doing well. And now I'm teaching at high school. So that's
great.
Yeah, because we can't really pull income from the business much yet. So
no, we're still paying off debt. Like we still have the debt we carried over from the last business.
Right.
So the new business now is
just like we're just trying to figure it out.
We don't know import export. Well, we don't know inventory management or import export or any of that.
We'll figure it out.
So now we're gonna do a business plan soon. We haven't even done a business plan because we did it so quickly that we just had to get something started. But no, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And we're gonna do our best to help support like local trainers and make sure that people know about them and because it matters. It's important.
It's great, and it becomes sort of it's like what you do in therapy with like a chiropractor with your trainer, and you know what I mean. Like you try to cross promote everybody and have It's the only way you can support the system, right?
Well, and that's more evident than now. Like back in the day, I feel like there's, trainers like competition because it was client per client, but we never should have. I don't think it's ever about that, because we both know, if you're in the business long enough, you know that the client's going to come to me because they attach to me somehow or my method, and the client will go to you because they attach to you and your method.
Right.
And it's very rare you're going to have a client that's a little confused about who to train with. It's very rare that's going to happen. So there's no competition, and we should be able to, your niche is this, like, go see Heather. She's great at this. I'm not good at that. And I think now more than ever, the industry needs to get on board with collaboration 100%. And none of this, and get rid of this integration thing. Well, just holding on to what's mine is mine. And I think hopefully we can promote that a bit, because I think it's important.
That's great. That's great.
Okay, I'll let you go back to your son. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much for this, Heather. Good to chat with you. And
I'll be reaching out. I need to get some bands for myself. So
okay,
I'll shoot you an email soon.
Perfect. Okay, Heather. Have a good night. Okay, take care. Thank you so much.
Bye, guys.
Okay, bye. Ciao. This is Dan Jackson. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time on the FitPro series.